And welcome to a Thursday night of the OHIO podcast, everybody. Good to have you with us. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us. We're thrilled that you decided to be here with us. Make sure you smash that like button tonight. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. And if you're watching this on playback, let us know down in the comment section below, maybe where you're watching from, who you are. We'd like to say hi to you. Thank you for taking the time to do that. If you're listening to us on the audio version of the podcast, thank you so much for taking us with you wherever you download your podcast. Make sure you give us a 5-star review. We appreciate all of you as well. Hey, down in the description notes of this video, of this live show, you're going to find a link over to our merch store where you can grab the Podfather shirt. That's me. You can get the Illuminati. By the way, the Illuminati dropped a new episode today. Go check that out. That link is also in the description below. Or any of the other shirts. We're going to be adding some new stuff to you for you guys as well here very soon. So that's coming down the path. Joining me this evening for tonight's roundtable, that's Buckeye Bart, that's Chris Wilds, that's Alex Bryant, a.k.a. King Buckeye. You all know them, you all love them. We'll go around and let them introduce themselves to you here real fast. Bart, tell everybody who you are and where they can find you.
Buckeye Bart, a.k.a. the Mr. Baldman, just on Facebook, Bart Dennison, and I've gotten quite a bit of friends over, and it's lovely to interact, but that's where I'm at, and I am the lowest guest on the dais today because we got really all-stars on here, so.
God. Bart. Crapping on himself already. Okay. Wow.
So, I am the Wild Man Chris Wild. You can catch me on Facebook at Christopher Michael. You can also catch me on X at the Wildman97, and you can catch me, as always, right here. It seems like Sunday and Thursday night pretty consistently. But who knows? I move around a lot.
Here soon, you'll be every night when I'm gone.
And I am Alex Bryan, a.k.a. King Buckeye, a.k.a. the Wolverine Educator, as I've been doing a lot recently. You can catch me on here. I'm kind of on Tuesdays and Thursdays now, it seems. Those are usually my free days at any time soon. But I'm on here whenever they need me and whenever I'm free from work. But you can also find me on Facebook, Alex Bryan. Good luck finding me. Very generic name. Everywhere else I go by my Xbox gamertag, FlyDog92. You can catch me there.
So, speaking of educating Wolverines, let's just start there. Let's do that. I'm sharing my screen with everybody here so they can see the article in which I'm going to be reading. This is from CBS Sportsline. Former Michigan linebacker coach Chris Partridge, who was fired during a sign-stealing investigation, has sued the school for wrongful termination, claiming the Wolverines created a false narrative about him that has ruined his reputation. Partridge wants, quote-unquote, truth to come to light, according to a suit filed this week in U.S. District Court for the Eastern District of the state up north. Partridge now works for the Seattle Seahawks and says despite having nothing to do with the Connor Stallions situation into advanced scouting, he was made a quote-unquote scapegoat after Big Ten Commissioner Tony Petitti allegedly presented Michigan Athletic Director Ward Manuel with uncorroborated, secondhand inflammatory information. Boy, that's a mouthful. Uncorroborated secondhand inflammatory information. Jeez. Per the lawsuit, and said Partridge told a former Wolverines player to, quote, not be forthright with information, unquote, ahead of an interview with the NCAA. Partridge claims he simply told the Michigan player to, quote, get a lawyer, unquote, and that Petitti's alleged threat to Michigan was aimed at embarrassing the Wolverines. I think they actually did that all on their own. I don't think they needed Petitti to do that, but I digress. Had it come to light during a pending injunction hearing associated with then-coach Jim Harbaugh's 3-game suspension. Partridge told ESPN this week he wants his name cleared of wrongdoing so he can return to coaching at the college level. Quote, I always believe that the truth will eventually come out, Partridge said. I went all the way through the process with the NCAA, and the truth prevailed. And I feel I have to go all the way through the process with Michigan for the truth with Michigan to prevail. Michigan said in a statement after Partridge's firing in 2023 that the school's focus, quote, has been on seeking due process and allowing the NCAA to conduct a fair and deliberate investigation, unquote. Oh my goodness. Alex, I'll start with you. Two things. Your reaction, number one, to this news. And number two, are we going to see more dirt come to light? Or is Michigan just going to have to pay to keep them quiet?
Nobody believes this guy, right? Nobody believes him. Like, he can't honestly think that he's innocent in all of this. All those coaches knew about everything. And whether the whole, telling the player to, keep his mouth shut or withhold information thing happened or not, he's still guilty because he knows everything that happened through that entire situation. These self-righteous losers. This guy just won a Super Bowl and he's focused on getting back into college because he's so butthurt that he got fired. Like, I don't care if he's a scapegoat or not. At this point, if he is a scapegoat, you might as well just air the dirty laundry out against your former employer and, get your get back, I guess. I'm still waiting on Sharon Moore to do the same. All these guys who end up coaching up there, I don't know if they sign like an NDA or something where they're not allowed to say anything that happens behind the scenes or what it is, because these guys just live by the Block M, die by the Block M. Well, even if the Block M screws me over, I can't do anything about it because I'm loyal to the toilet bowl cleaner and pea colored team up there.
But isn't he actually trying to do something about it here?
I don't know what he thinks he's going to accomplish out of it. I mean, that they'll probably win that lawsuit against him. So, and he tried to sue the NCAA afterwards, I'm sure, and we all know how that goes. So I don't know. I think this is just sour grapes on his end. I don't think it's going to amount to anything. But if his whole little spiel about the truth will prevail, well, be careful what you wish for, Chris. I should say Chris Partridge. Be careful what you wish for,
Chris.
Chris. Be careful what you wish for because you just might get the truth to prevail. And one Justin Spiro, Sparty fan, who is batting 100 right now on leaking Wolverine information. He's pretty close to dropping that Blake Corum thing that'll make everything go in a lot different directions. So all these Wolverine fans, and be careful what you wish for. You just might get it.
Here's the thing, Alex. You're saying that he knew, and he's not denying that he knew. Nowhere in that statement is he denying that he knew anything.
He's pretending to be innocent.
He's saying they came out with a false narrative, which very well may be true. He's saying they scapegoated him, which very well may be true, and is actually supported by the NCAA's own commission in the fact that they basically exonerated him, hitting him with his only penalty being a minor recruiting issue violation for text messaging. That's it. So while I do believe you're right that he probably did know, I think you're 100% right there. I do believe this. He has a valid and actionable case. It's not going to see the inside of a courtroom. But you're wrong. It's not going to be nothing. Because Michigan is going to pay this guy so much money to keep this out of court. Because the last thing they want is anything getting out about how much Ward Manuel knew, what he did and did not do right, how much Jim Harbaugh knew, what he did and did not do right, how much potential other coaches and even players knew and did not come forward. All of this comes out if this goes to court. So what he is going to do is he is going to get himself a nice big settlement check.
Yep.
Them paying that settlement is going to give him some, if you look at it, some credibility back around the league. Should it? Probably not. I think, like I said, I think you're right. I think he knew. But I do think he's going to get some kind of credibility back around the league. And let's not forget, there's another player in this who doesn't want this to come out. And that is Tony Petitti. Because if this is legitimately something where Ward Manuel and Tony Petitti had this dirty little doing like is rumored, where they sacrificed Chris Partridge and played down the Jim Harbaugh aspect of it just to get through this and to, in essence, help the Big Ten keep that first national title in this 3 run. Tony Petitti has something to lose in this. So I'm going to tell you right now, this is never going to see the inside of a courtroom. They don't want it to. And honestly, I don't know that many people in power do want it to. Because all this does is reinforces Michigan's integrity issue. It re-examines Ward Manuel's judgment. And most importantly, this does something that Michigan did not want. And this brings us all back front and center again. Which means that anybody, if you are recruiting a coach or a player or whoever against Michigan, all you have to do is say this. When things get messy, are they going to stand by you or are they going to throw you under the bus just like they did Chris Partridge? And that is what the people in Ann Arbor can't have. So I think that this is settled. I think this goes away sooner rather than later because the last thing that Michigan wants is to reopen the darkest period in their football program's history.
Bart, do me a quick favor. Take your glasses off. Turn your head slightly to your left. Slightly. Yep. Now open your mouth like you're getting ready to yell. What do you guys think?
Are you kidding me right now, Eric? That is bullcrap. That is
Chris
bullcrap.
Partridge, welcome to the program. Let's get the insider
is that a block
information.
M on his chest? Is that
Are
a
you
block M?
Okay, that was dirty, Eric. That was dirty.
Wow.
Boys, if you would have been here, if any of you, by the way, before we let Bart,
that was a good one.
If any of you were on the show last night on Super Secret Show, The Asylum last night, give me a heck yes in the comment section. Was that not? By the way, Tyler, you are the man, dude. Last night,
or is he?
That was some of the funniest crap we've ever experienced last night. Tyler, you're the man, dude. Absolutely. That was hilarious. If you don't know what we're talking about, join. Go over to Patreon, join, and you too can know exactly what all the inside crap is we're talking about. All right, Bart. Is this going to amount to anything, man?
No. And I disagree with Chris. I don't think he wants a credibility issue. The dude's in the NFL coaching. He has a Super Bowl ring. Has nothing to do with credibility because they hired him and they're going to continue to hire him. He is a smart guy that wants freaking money. And you are right, Chris, that they are not going to go to trial because it's a little thing called discovery. When you do that, they play this out in the NCAA. They did not play it out in a courtroom. You have courtrooms that you high profile ones, you hear all the details, you hear the lawyer's sidebars, all that stuff. We have zero idea how deep and bad this is. And they do not want that. If they play this out in the court, it's going to be terrible. And I think with hiring Kyle Whittingham, they want to turn the page. And so this guy is the first, probably in a many line of people that's going to sue him. But it has zero to do with his credibility, and it has everything to do about him getting money. And that is, he might have been a Michigan coach. He might have been in the sign stealing. But I'd probably be upset too. I mean, everybody was doing it, and here Sharon Moore gets a freaking pay raise and becomes head coach, and he probably knew more than anybody else other than maybe Hardball. So he is just upset that he got treated differently. He's getting his payback, and he is getting it in money, and it's going to be a lot of money because they will not go to a thing like this. But I think he is good. He knows where he's at in the NFL, and he's going to be there for a while probably because he has a Super Bowl ring, and he seems like a pretty decent coach for the Seahawks. So I think it has to do a lot more about money and just getting back at the university than anything.
I'll give him this. His first tenure with the team up north ended in 2019, and he wasn't there for 2021 and 2022. He came back for the 2023 season, and that was the only season he was there, obviously. So he wasn't a part of it as deep as the other ones, but once you get brought into that, you know what's going on. And you're right. I think it would be very dumb for them to go to court with this, because not only will Tony Petiti be crapping his pants, but everybody else involved with the team up north should be crapping their pants too, because stuff's got to come to light that they didn't want to come to light.
And sorry, the money that is going to come out of this, Barton, you talked about, as I did, how big it is huge, because he can go after them for back pay, including benefit costs, front pay up to X number of years, compensatory damages for emotional distress, punitive damages, and of course for the defamation of character, he can go after all kinds of damages for that as well. I mean, it would not be unheard of for him to come in there and seek, $30 million of his own.
I heard he was asking for two things other than money. He was asking for the Ohio Podcast hair growth shampoo and the butter knives that the Ohio Podcast makes. So those are two things he's asked.
We are not allowed to send butter knives to the state of Michigan.
Yeah, they're not allowed.
You saw what happened the last time Eric did that.
They have a butter knife law there.
Do they?
Yeah. Guys, two things. One of two things are going to come out of this, and I'm with you, Chris. So it's 2 against 2 here. Either he's going to go to court, and if he's true about what he's saying, there's going to be more dirt that is brought out in court. At least now Michigan might be able to sit there and deny it all, but him and his lawyer, you don't think that they're going to throw all that dirt out there? And guess who's going to run with it? Me? I am.
Well, you're not going to run, but you're going to talk about it, right?
No, I'm going to take it and I'm going to run with it, and it's going to be hilarious to watch because I'm not a very good runner anymore.
Wear your sports bra, so.
Thank you. Yes, that's probably a good idea.
And your Speedo, yeah.
Or they're gonna have to pay him. One of the two. That's the only outcome here. Is he's going to get his day in court and he's just going to throw it all out there. And that would be a glorious day, in my opinion.
Do you think that at some point the Michigan Board of Regents finally sits down and says, how much is that national title really worth?
That's what I was getting to is how much did Michigan truly, all these Michigan fans talking about how much we paid for our national championship in 2024. How much are they going to pay for their 2023 national championship?
At what point do they just stop paying and just come clean before it gets too heavy? Because as Bart said, if this goes through, or if Partridge gets a huge settlement, more people are coming out of the woodwork looking for their cut of the pie. I promise you.
Sharon Moore will.
I think if you ask any Michigan fan, it's completely worth it to them because they're not going to see it any other time soon.
Yeah, but it's not their money.
It's not. So yeah, it's 100% worth it. But to the people there that's writing the checks, I don't. You talk about how much was a $20-30 million they had to pay.
It was 30 to the NCAA.
And now if they got to pay this, I mean, that's going to be huge damper in maybe their NIL or something like that. I don't know.
And not only that, that board is that board, although I'm sure that they're Michigan football fans, that board, their job is to oversee the University of Michigan, not the University of Michigan athletic department. And at some point, they're going to have to say, how much more can we sustain as a university before we need to actually get rid of Ward Manuel? Because at the head of all of this, guys, is Ward Manuel. And he still is sitting there with a job, which is absolutely crazy to me how this man has a job still.
Hey, so, Eric, is this about right?
What? Hold on. I'm not on the screen.
It's pretty close.
Pretty close. Move your head down a little, slightly. Yeah, that dude. I think. Yeah.
So what you're saying? I could be a Michigan man, huh?
No.
Oh, okay.
Well, you did marry a Michigan woman.
I did.
God bless your soul.
Happens.
Yeah.
Happens.
I was
Nah.
getting pretty desperate at the bottom of the barrel, so
I do find it funny that Tony Petiti right now is actually like coming to bat for the team up north when it comes to basketball, because everybody in the grandma knows that Dusty May tampered with multiple teams in the conference. So he's trying to get back in the good graces of the Wolverine fans up there.
He's been doing that all along, Alex. This has been going back to when he came out, and I don't care how much I've argued with everybody about this. When he came out and made that statement that Michigan had been punished enough,
yeah, I remember that,
over the cheating scandal, at that point, I started to believe that Tony Petiti was in bed with Michigan. And I don't believe a word Chris Partridge said necessarily, but at the same time, it makes sense what he said, that he was sacrificed as part of a deal between the University of Michigan.
So do you believe that Petiti went to them with that letter or whatever that said everything wrong that they did, and then the Wolverines paid him off to join their side?
I don't know that I would call it a direct payoff, but there's something there. I truly believe there's something between them.
They're not above doing that, so it wouldn't surprise me. Crazy.
So I've gone on a mission now. I kind of will share with you all what I'm doing. Alex says he's the truth sayer to Michigan. He's a kind of like a truth sermon. I can't talk tonight.
The educator.
Thank you. That's better.
Truth serum, Eric?
Serum. Thank you. Yes. Anyways, I have gone on this this little rampage of trying to get them to admit they cheated. And what I am finding is every time I present any information to them where I'm like, look, at this point, just admit you cheated and move on, they cannot do it, and they lose the argument right away. I mean, they totally lose because they try to turn it on its head. And they'll be like, Urban did this, Tressel cheated and did that. Like, they just go on this rampage of listing things that are so minute compared to what they did that it's actually laughable. But I've started to understand what's happening, and let me explain it to you this way. Is it a mission from God, Eric? Yes. I have a full tank. I have a full tank of gas. It's got a cop engine. Yeah.
A full tank of gas, half a pack of cigarettes.
Half a pack of cigarettes.
It's dark, and we're wearing sunglasses.
Yes. Anyways, what was I going to say? I'm flabbergasted a little bit tonight. No, I believe that at the end of the day, they cannot handle the fact that they didn't do this according to their moral standard that they preached and they were taught their whole lives. And so they deny because they can't admit, or nor do they want to admit, they didn't do it the way they... Because remember, Michigan man thought he was better than everybody else, right? We're more highly educated. We have a better athletic. They were snooty about everything. They were always snooty. They looked down their nose at everybody. You're just little dumb Ohio State. You're not elite like us, in everything we do. And the fact that they lowered themselves to cheating in order to do that, they cannot face that reality because it doesn't fit into the narrative of what they were taught by their fathers and their grandfathers, and it's killing them inside, and I can't help myself. I poke it. I just sit there and I poke it because for my entire life growing up, all I heard about was how much better they were than me. And I thought, my goodness, maybe you're not, bud. Maybe you're not. And so I love to show them that. And so this to me is great. One of your own is suing you and says the truth's going to come out. And so they're just like, oh, he's just sour grapes. He's just upset because he got fired. It's like, dude, you're already admitting he was fired for what? Cheating. He was fired for telling a player to lie. That's what Michigan fired him for. And so there's no good that can come out of this for Michigan. None. There's no good. And so I'm gonna sit here and celebrate in it. Last thoughts, Alex.
They keep dodging like the real punishments and everything. I some days when I see stuff come out and then immediately I see them get away with it time after time anymore, I just think to myself, God must be a Wolverine fan. He must be, because somebody in the stratosphere is protecting them from losing everything. It's about time that protection stop. And that's why I hope Justin Spiro and whoever he's working with on the Blake Corum thing and the Dusty May thing he's working on right now too, I hope he just buries them, because he will be a hero amongst many if he does. He's already leaked out the Sharon Moore stuff. He leaked out something else prior to that, and he's been right about both. And their fan base keeps attacking him. So if he just continues to bury that university further and further down until they lose absolutely everything, he'll be a hero. So you got my support, Justin.
You know, and going back to what you said, Eric, deflection is the first sign of a guilty conscience. And that's what these Michigan fans are doing. It's what the coaches did all along. It's what the university has done. It's what they're best known for at this point, other than cheating. It would not surprise me if every word in this lawsuit is 100% legitimate. Like I said, he's not claiming he didn't know about the cheating, but the claims he is making, I would not be surprised if they are not 100% legitimate. And all I can think of is this: if Partridge eventually returns to college football, winds up on a sideline somewhere else playing a game against Michigan, it would just be a pretty poetic reminder to us that this what this lawsuit claims, that the Wolverines were so desperate, so sad, so pathetic that they traded his reputation, his livelihood, his career to save an asterisk championship. And that, I would say, is the most Michigan ending imaginable. That is what they are. That is who they are. That is what they represent.
Eric, I'm going to push back a little bit and say that as a Ohio State fan, we're not innocent.
I didn't say we were, but don't sit there on your high horse and try to say you're better than me. Get down here in the mud with me, pal.
Yeah, I mean, everybody in college football looks over at the sidelines, looks at to steal signs. They just went around the most stupidest way and the most way you can get caught ever. And I think about Tattoo-gate. Don't tell me that any other college we are the only college players that ever were getting tattoos and selling trinkets and doing all that stuff. We weren't. And every college program does this. They just went so egregious and over the top that we're not going to get caught. We're so much smarter than everybody else that we're never going to get it caught. But let's not pretend that we don't do a little, and I can't, cheating, if you want to say it. They just got caught because they went over the top because they thought they were superior than everybody else. So when you say, oh, we're so morally superior, are we? I think we are, definitely. They just went above the top, and then when they deny it, and I look at, growing up, and I still watch it, Maury. You go in there, it's like, that's not my kid. That's not, no, knowing that's his kid the whole time. And they will, yes, and they just deny. Even when it comes out, that's not my, they'll just deny it until they die because that's the only thing they have. And Chris is right. When they're back against the wall, they will say anything and do anything other than admit the truth. You're almost talking to a 2 or 3 or 4-year-old that says, hey, did you mark on that wall? I did. They have the marker in their hands and markers all over their hands. So it doesn't surprise me. I think we all do it. They just did it above the top and they got caught.
I had a Wolverine fan today tell me that Jim Tressel in Ohio State is the dirtiest program of all time because Tressel and those players worked with that tattoo owner shop to sell drugs.
So not only are they deflecting, but they're fabricating.
Yes. And then they bring up stuff from that SI article, which a lot of that was proven to be bull crap anyway, forever ago. It's just like, what are we doing here, folks? Like, none of them do their homework. It's worthless to even bring up. They don't know what the actual definition of cheating is. There's a difference between a rule violation
Correct.
and cheating. They're two different things. You can do a rule violation and it be cheating, but rule violations can also not be cheating. I'm sorry, getting tattoos and giving them your personal items, that didn't even fit the rule that they said we broke. The rule they said we broke was based off of Georgia selling their jerseys and university property on eBay for money. There was only one player that traded any university property, and I think it was Hall or something like that. And he just traded a jersey. The rest was all his stuff. So I don't know. It's the most overblown thing of all time. And then of course you bring up the fact that they actually cheated, and they go, "Well, you cheated way more." And you guys are the dirtiest program of all time. It's just deflect, and then like Chris said, lie, fabricate things.
That's
So
how
they're
that's how they're trying to make live with their conscience.
yes.
Okay, like I know I relate a lot of things to my background as a minister when I was a pastor, but I've sat across from people who've been caught in their sinful act by their spouse or whoever or whatever, and they will not deny, but they'll somehow try to turn it around narcissistically that it was their spouse's fault. They almost
You
like they
drove me into her arms.
So it's like that's essentially what they're saying to us is, you guys were so good, you caused us to do this. And that's how the narcissist thinks in a way. So I want to get off the topic, but Lisa brought up a great point earlier. Let's see if I can find the comment. Great comment, Lisa. We got our own crap, but we don't try to cover it up and try to deny it nowadays. We own it. Guys, we have our own scandal that just happened on our campus with our president and Ted Carter. We don't know all the details. We've talked a little bit about it. We've done some assuming, which I think everybody has when he talks about an inappropriate relationship. What does that mean? What does that detail? We even showed pictures last night of who she was over on the Super Secret Show. But we announced a new president today to replace him. I want this to sink in for a second. We found out, apparently the board found out on Saturday.
Yes.
He came to the board and stepped down on Sunday. It is Thursday. We have the new president in place. Are we living in like upside down world at Ohio State? Well, here's the thing. It's not Jim Tressel. I know. It doesn't make me sad that it's not Jim Tressel. Yes. But like Vader told us that very day, Jim was never going to take that job.
Right.
Guys, thank you, but I'm not interested. Please don't ask me. This was Ted Carter's executive vice president, Ravi Bellamkonda. And for those of you who like Ted Carter, and I liked Ted Carter, this was Ted Carter's suggestion to the board. Put this guy in. He's going to continue to do everything that we were working on and doing for the university. I don't know how many of you watched his introductory press conference today. Guess who introduced him to the media? Ryan Day. Ryan Day left practice because it was during practice, walked over to the press conference, introduced the man, shook his hand. The man took the podium and wished Ryan Day a happy birthday and acknowledged who Ryan Day was. Ryan Day admitted in his introduction they had a very good conversation last night. Great question, Ken. Does he love football, though? Well, apparently he's a Browns fan.
Oh, no.
So he doesn't love football.
And he's not very
Listen,
smart.
listen. One of the best quotes he said was, "I know some of you are Bengals fans. I'm sorry, I cannot turn my back on Cleveland. One of the greatest nights of my life was watching the Cleveland Cavaliers win the NBA championship." And I went, "This guy knows some ball.
Yep.
He knows some ball."
Oh,
And
come on.
He's got a hell of a writer.
listen, Bart, come on now. If he didn't know ball, he probably wouldn't know who a Cleveland Cavalier was.
Other than he's probably really freaking smart and prepped for this freaking.
Well, he is very, very smart. We're going to get into that in a second.
Come on.
Yeah, I mean, a bioengineer and neuroscientist.
But here's the thing: he knows? He knows who runs the show here. He's not the highest paid employee at the Ohio State University, not by a long shot. That's the man who introduced him. And I don't know how many of you heard yesterday on the podcast there with Urban Meyer. Urban Meyer, he threw it out there about his thoughts about presidents. Urban Meyer had a really, really bad president to work under when he was at Ohio State.
Yeah.
President Drake was awful. He was the worst president at the Ohio State University in my lifetime. He was the worst. That man came in with a political agenda, and it's all he cared about. I will say this. I'm going to give Ravi the benefit of the doubt because the man who put him in place, who I liked, who had to leave because of what he did, said, we have a plan. And that's one of the things Ravi said is, I am not abandoning the missions that we were working on to make this university great. And I'm like, okay, let's go. Let's do this thing, man. But don't get in the way of my football program. That's where I draw the line. If you Drake this thing, dude, I'll go scorched earth, man. But so far, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. Alex, your thoughts on our new president, Ravi Bellamkonda?
It's not Jim Tressel.
I know.
It just felt like a perfect thing. Like, obviously, DeWine is DeWine's exiting, so Jim Tressel probably won't be lieutenant governor much longer. And then the door was wide open for him to return home. Just sucks. I got my hopes up, but hey, it is what it is. The guy seems more than qualified. I just hope in a few years, whoever he chooses for him to have his inappropriate relationship with is worthy of losing his job over.
There's nobody like that. Nobody.
Yeah, I guess. But it sounds like he really loves his wife, so I don't know if that'll happen. But yeah, I don't really have much more to say other than that. Just hope he does a good job, doesn't embarrass Ohio State, and maybe he can get Gordon Gee as far away from Ohio State as possible. I hated that Ted Carter brought him back. So hopefully Gordon Gee's time at Ohio State is permanently done this time because he's an embarrassment. So
leave poor Gordon Gee alone, that little sleepy potato.
He's a loser.
I'll tell you, I actually was at a meeting with Gordon Gee one time. We're sitting here in a room full of people who are giving this presentation on the state of the Marion campus. And Gordon Gee's right there in the front row, about 4 seats down from me, sound asleep. But Bellamkonda, I like the fit. I think this shows that they're prioritizing. The board is going to prioritize stability after Ted Carter's going. They're bringing in a guy who you talked about, Eric. He's going to keep the things going in the right direction. He was a key figure in creating and implementing their 10-year framework for the university from an academic, research, talent, culture, operations, and collegiate athletics standpoint. So I think that this is actually not a bad hire. Again, Eric, you mentioned a guy who is a sports fan. He is one of their own, so to speak. So I think that, Ryan Day, the other coaches within the program, they're going to be a little more at ease. And as far as athletics go, even though he hasn't specifically came forward and said an exact plan, the strategic framework that Carter had already laid out, he was a part of. So he's going to keep running things, I think, in that general direction. But more importantly, I think what this means as far as the stability goes is you don't have a national search, which has taken 6 to 12 months to find a new president for the university, a search which is going to leave our athletic director, our coaches, and our players and recruits wondering who's going to be in charge and is this going to change the direction of this program?
Yep.
That kind of stability is huge. So I think he's going to put an emphasis on excellence across the board. And I really feel like he is going to be a good selection for the university overall.
You know, I could tell that the Board of Regents knew who they wanted, because it took them a day or two to figure it out. When you got people in a room that dissent, that are arguing back, this does not happen this fast. But if you have everybody in agreement, like this guy is going to be great, he's going to have the vision that we see, it doesn't take that long. And I'm sure it took them less than an hour to say, hey, this is the guy we need. But two things that will make him successful: know where your bread is buttered, football program, and stay the heck out of the way. If he does those two things and has that vision that Ted Carter had, he's going to be very successful and be there for a long time. But don't do anything stupid. Just stay out of the way of the football program. Be supportive, and you're going to be successful. It's not that hard to do. And I think he's going to do a good job. I honestly do.
Buck Vader brings up an excellent point, and I was gonna get into this. So great,
Yes.
great way to step in. Do you guys, outside of Ohio State football, what is Ohio State known for?
That cancer hospital.
The James.
OSU,
medical research.
Yeah.
OSU women's hockey.
The
Wexner
Medical Center.
Yeah.
Not according to the views on that video yesterday.
No, I know. Yeah, I saw that too. Eric did a video on the Ohio State women's hockey team, and it did not do very well.
No.
Well, they'll win a natty, and that
Yeah,
it'll
will.
make it better. So
Yeah.
No, this guy. Let me just read down a little bit of some of his sheet of
credentials.
Credentials. Yes, thank you. He was born in India. Then went to Osmania University. I'm assuming that's in India. Might be here in the U.S.
Probably.
I don't know. Got his PhD from Brown University, which is an Ivy League school.
Oh.
And then he followed that up by going over to MIT. He is at Georgia Tech. He was the head of the Department of Biomedical Engineering.
Great.
And that's I got my biomedical from MIT too, so it's really not that hard.
Sure.
Do you think that maybe he's like gonna clone Archie?
That's an interesting tinfoil hat topic. He was the dean of the Pratt School of Engineering at Duke University for a while. He was there at 2016, and he was there for about, looks like 4 or 5 years before he moved on to become the executive vice president of academic affairs at Emory University in Atlanta, Georgia, where he had faculty appointments in the Department of Biology. So he was in biomedical engineering. So the dude is going to be a huge advocate for Ohio State University Hospital.
He is also a neuroscientist, Eric.
Wow.
I think the only thing that matters here is what is he going to do about this Wexner issue?
He
That's
answered
going to
that.
be interesting.
He answered that because it was the second question he got.
Good.
And he said the university already has in place a process by which building names are named and reviewed, and we will continue to let that arm of the university do their job, basically in a roundabout way. Not that he was deflecting, but he was saying that's already being taken care of, essentially.
Yeah.
That was happening when Ted Carter was here, and he's now adopted that. and he basically just said, "Yeah, let it happen." Now he did. This was really interesting. The last question in his press conference came from the Lantern, which is the student newspaper.
Newspaper, yeah.
And the question was kind of it was a bold question by the young lady. She said, "What are you going to do about the transparency of the president's office when it comes to communicating with student affairs about what's important to the student body?" And his answer was, "We've always cared about what's important to the student body, and we have tried our very best to communicate with the student body. I see how many of you don't open your emails that I send out to the entire student body."
Facts.
And then he goes, "Maybe I should make a TikTok so the student body can actually." And I was like, "Dude,
Okay.
he won me
he
over."
shoots, he scores.
Savage.
Yeah.
It
Savage,
was a great answer, and I thought she was probably walked away stomping her
like,
feet.
But you know, that's actually a very, very true statement. Having been somebody who was involved with student affairs, you know, as a member of the student government at Ohio State, and having been on the student member of the board of trustees here at the Marion campus, what he said was very true. Students very rarely open anything that comes from the university president or the provost office. I'm not saying you didn't. In most cases, it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
So
he should do a TikTok. He should, because that would be hilarious. You know, just hearing how savage he got. I'm sure not only is this girl going to write an article in the Lantern being like, "Oh, the new president was so rude."
It might already be there. Let's go check it out.
But you know, he's got my full support now if he's that savage. Good job, Robbie.
If he even knows what TikTok is, that's a win in my book right there. So
yeah.
It's the number one. It's the number one article on the Lantern. Here's the headline. You ready? The new president responds to press on ongoing university concerns. Let me see if I can find the exact quote.
I am so glad I am not a student at Ohio State right now, because I guarantee you it would be the most obnoxious time to be there for me.
Oh, without a doubt.
100%.
Oh, God, I couldn't walk through the Oval without hearing some chants and all that. Oh, God.
And I was a late life student, Alex. I mean, I was... Whew.
I'd be like, I just want to go to class. You know, it was bad enough I had people making me late to class because they half-ass run to the bus. It's like, God, man, I don't need any of those issues.
Here's the exact quote about Wexner's name. "I think the name removal process is thorough, fair, and open, and I will promise you that we will give each request a full consideration."
Here's the thing. Wexner obviously gives a lot of money to Ohio State. There's no doubt about it. He likes to have his name on a lot of things. There's no doubt about it. But we're in an NIL era, and we're watching Indiana have Mark Cuban step up to the plate to help them get players. Has Wexner helped at all in buying players? Probably not. So
he's not even really associated with the athletic.
He's useless to me. Get him out of here.
Well, he's not to me because I use those hospitals. My family uses those hospitals, so he's not useless to me.
Well, the hospital is fine. We can have the hospital still without his name on it, and it'll still do just as great. So,
and I think, Bart, at one time you said this: if he truly cared about the actual mission, he wouldn't care if his name was on it or not.
100%. Yeah.
If it's all about his name being on it, then his heart and is not in the right place.
Exactly.
This article so far, I've not seen his last quote that I gave you guys, but it was so good.
Alex, I went to college in '92, and I was listening to Snoop Dogg and Dr. Dre. That was when the Chronic came out, and that was all we worried about. Even in the year 2000, it's like, I'm so glad I'm not on campus anymore. And just every year it gets worse and worse and worse.
I was in that fringe period, 2010 to 2014. So it was before things started getting really off the rails.
Yeah. What's funny is I am the oldest person here, and I graduated college in 2014.
No.
Oh, I didn't know that. Did you guys know that? Everyone talks about the OSU hospitals, but not the fact his wife's name is on the children's hospital. I didn't know that.
Yeah, unfortunately, she will be a casualty along with him.
Yeah, that's true. Well, maybe not.
The last name in general, you
I
got to
mean,
get it off there.
I'm assuming when he goes the way of the grave, Mama's going to get all the money.
But guys, come on. We have to let the whole legal debate play out first.
And that might be true.
I mean, I truly believe, and I'm saying this from the standpoint of somebody who believes that he probably had a good idea of what was going on, because you don't give that kind of money to somebody without knowing what's going on.
No.
But at the same time, I think you have to let this legal debate play out because of the fact that he does donate so much, and because of the fact that, let's call it what it is, whether it's dirty money or not, it's money that is benefiting the greater good of the Columbus area, and even reaching out further through, like we said, his work with the or his donations to the arts, his donation to the medical program. But I believe he's probably about as innocent in all this as Bill and Hillary. So,
well, and when that's one of the first things Michigan man likes to throw in our faces is Wexner
right now.
And I replied back to this individual on Twitter who did this. I go, it's interesting that you all go there when philanthropy. I cannot talk tonight. God, I'm broken. I am broken tonight. That's just my goodness.
Philanthropy?
Yeah, whatever. Anyways, that the aspect of the fact that his name is on that hospital, I go, that money went more than just to the name. It went to saving lives. I go, if your life was in the hands of a doctor who's at the hospital using the rooms built, the technology that was aided by that money that he paid, would you tell that doctor, no, thank you, I think I'd just rather die? I doubt you would. I doubt you would.
They're not the smartest people in the world, Eric. So don't be assuming that.
Yeah.
I go, do I want his name removed from the buildings? Absolutely. I would like to see his name being removed from the building. But don't sit there and think to yourself that basically your comeback of throwing his name in is going to take away from the fact that Jim Harbaugh is a hypocrite. You cheated for 3 years. You got caught. Admit it. And they will not do it because it is an idol that they're not willing to let go of. They will not let go of their idol. That is it. They have dreamed their entire lives of holding up that national championship trophy. They got it, and they don't care how they got it, and they're not letting it go. You will have to take that thing from their cold, dead hands. They will not let it go because that is their idol. It's unbelievable to me. And even the fact that Jim Harbaugh left them high and dry, knowing good and well the NCAA was going to come down on him in Michigan for cheating, and he left them high and dry. They don't care because he won them a natty. It's unbelievable.
He stole them a natty, Eric. Say it right.
Yeah.
He's their hero.
Unbelievable. So
but here's the funny thing about all that, Eric, is 90% of the scum football fans didn't even go to the school. They don't even have the IQ or the SAT scores to get into the Ann Arbor Institute of Technology. They're a joke.
But yet they believe they are just as big of a part of that program as you name your favorite former Wolverine. That is how much they feel that they are a part of that national championship. They're not a fan. They won that national championship.
Joey Velasquez.
#bet, man.
Yeah, they were really willing to ruin Joey's life to protect their idol.
Much like they were willing to ruin Chris Partridge's life.
Yep.
Yes. Exactly. So it's hilarious to me. I say let it all come out. Let it all come out. Are we innocent, Bart? Nope, we're not. We had a president do a dumb thing. But look at how fast we corrected. We course corrected in 4 days. That's unbelievable. How
Yeah.
long did it take them to find their president? A year and a half?
Something.
We
And
course corrected in 4 days.
And their president seemed to try to get out of there before things blew up too. And he tried
That
to
worked
go
real well for him,
he
didn't
tried
it?
to go to Florida, and Florida ended up saying, "Nah, no thanks." And now I don't know where he's at. So he was a guy they were very excited about when he came there. So I don't know.
Today we watched Ohio State beat Iowa in the third round of the Big Ten Championship. We move on to the final 8 tomorrow. Tip is at 12 noon. You can watch the game with us over on Patreon. We watched the game today on Patreon. We had a great time. We'll watch tomorrow's game on Patreon at 12 noon again. Hopefully, Ohio State will have a better outcome against the team up north. They lost to them twice this year. So we will go after them one more time for the upset. We're in the NCAA tournament, so win or lose or draw doesn't matter. We're in. So we're going to be having a really awesome tournament game, I guess you will, pick'em game, NCAA tournament March Madness over on Patreon. If you're a Patreon member, it's open to the free members as well. Winner gets 1 year's membership paid for free. So that is
$100 entry, isn't it?
it's a $0 entry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Doesn't
But
cost
Bart,
you
if
nothing.
we want to go ahead and get a little pool going, where's a little $100?
If you would like to donate $100 to the cause,
I've seen your
feel free.
basketball knowledge, Chris. I should be okay.
Question. Since this is my first go
He ain't
around
wrong.
in these parts in March, do we do a March Madness group thing here?
That's what we're talking about.
That's what we're talking
Yeah,
about.
We are? Okay. All right. Cool. Okay.
Over on Patreon, yeah. So all
right.
Patreon members, in which you are one, Alex, you all will be able to sign up for our NCAA tournament March Madness poll, hosts included. If a host wins, we'll just go down till the next non-host because hosts already have free memberships. But we're gonna go down. Maybe we'll give the host something too. We'll throw something your way.
Can we put something in there for anybody that chooses the loserines to win the national title? They actually have to pay double for Patreon?
No, we're not. It's all about winning, man. So if you do that and you win it all, I guess it's like you're smarter than us.
It's all about winning. Oh, all about winning. The winning.
It's all about winning the right way.
You're starting to sound like Ted
all-
Carter over there.
It's all about winning.
All about women.
You're starting to sound a
It
lot
was
like
last
those guys
night,
up
wasn't it,
north.
Bart?
Oh, you have no idea.
God.
Hey, I got a great question when we go over to the asylum for Alex and you and Chris. So,
Oh boy.
Okay. Well, guys, you said, wait, Bogsy, today was the second day of camp. Why didn't you talk about that? Oh, my friend, we're going to do more than talk about it. I've got video we're going to be showing from camp today. One that Chris is going to get so excited for, and it is going to be awesome. Join us over on the Asylum, the super secret after show over on our Patreon. Link is down in the description below. It's going to be a great time. We'll be back tomorrow on Patreon at noon. Mika and I are working on a couple videos for you guys. Next live will be here on YouTube. Will be Sunday night at 8 o'clock right here. Thank you so much, everybody. We'll see you over on Patreon. OH.
I.O.
I-O.
Go Bucks.